Executives, I appreciate so much the relationship that I feel that I have with you guys. I'm an executive myself. I enjoy meeting with you guys and talk about the many things that challenge you. And I think that there's a good connection. Whenever you guys meet with us at Team Real World, you pretty much know that we're not just trainers who just speak theoretically, and that we're not just business owners that are just trying to make a dollar. You find, hopefully, in us a camaraderie and a compatico understanding of the fact that we drive this business from the pains and angst that executives normally feel. So we feel you. So let's dive into a common trap that I find that executives get into. Now, this also applies to managers, but it's really good for the executives to see it and to own it. And so for you managers, I want you to know just how difficult it is, because you're probably following the patterns of your executives, or you're contributing to some of these patterns. So here's the one trap that I find probably the most consistent that gets in the way of executives being the leaders that they are trying to be and growing to be, all right? And it is what's called triangulation. Here's what it looks like, all right? Let me show it to you on the screen. As a matter of fact, let me show it to you to my PowerPoint, okay? It normally looks like this. Here at the very top, you'll notice that we have some executives, okay? And then the teams at the bottom, okay, are the supervisors and the managers. And what usually happens is communication starts breaking down because one executive will probably talk to their partner or to another executive, and then that executive will go down and talk to a manager. Here, I'll show it to you on the screen a little closer. Okay, all right. Okay, and then that manager will then go talk to this other manager over here. Okay, all right, and they'll talk to each other, and then that manager will go talk to an executive. But those three executives are not on the same page, okay? And I'm getting some notice here from some guys that you can't see the screen. So here's what I will do. I will write it on the board, all right? So here's what it looks like. The breakdown in communication or leadership from the top down is it's very common in this, all right? That you have three executives, for example, okay? And these two executives, or let's say all three of them, had a conversation about implementing something for the front office team, okay? Well, this executive took it upon himself or herself to talk to the IT department about it, okay? Now, these two may have been in agreement that we needed to talk to IT, but they didn't agree for this person to go talk to them. Now, then IT starts talking to the sales team about it, okay? Or to perhaps another department. This department manager talks to this executive, and this executive may wonder, wait a minute, I didn't think that we were supposed to implement that. In the meantime, the IT has already talked to their supervisors, and they've contacted a vendor over here, all right? So now we have a vendor involved because word has gotten down to the supervisors that we need to go do that. And that vendor all of a sudden calls this executive. And this executive is now wondering what the heck is going on. In the meantime, these supervisors and the vendors have implemented the solution for the front desk department. And then these guys are wondering, why did nobody talk to me? Why didn't anybody talk to me? All right. So this type of breakdown in communication is probably the single most common occurrence that we find in companies. It is called triangulation. Okay? And triangulation is what breaks down communication, okay? And the breakdown in communication is what kills trust, okay? Why? Because these folks were not notified. These folks did not know that this supervisor had been notified and that this vendor got involved. Then this whole project probably gets delayed, and then the vendors get upset because they actually put some hours to help this supervisor. In the meantime, IT is caught in the crossfire because certain folks were told about it, and they may have told these folks, and then sales got involved. Everything here, every single individual automatically starts distrusting everybody else because we're not aligned in our communication style, okay? And if that wasn't worse, what add insult to injury it could very well easily be the case, and as we find it, is that this executive talked to this IT person, and then they came over here and talked to sales about it as well. Or they might have easily come and talked to the engineering team, and this folks right here are now have gotten 3 different people involved. So nobody asked the questions, who's going to be handling this project? Who should be handling this project? This type of triangularized communication is probably the single most trap that we find executives in. And so what I would encourage you as executives is to be very careful of doing this. But in order to do that, you have to have clarity with your executives on your organizational charge and really ask yourself some basic questions, okay? Who is responsible for projects such as this, okay? I'm gonna say it was probably the IT department. If so, therefore, let's go to IT, but who's also involved? Well, the front desk is. Well, then let's call a meeting. Well, there's the problem that we talked in the first segment. We don't want to have meetings, so we create this type of triangulation via emails, and this is what usually fosters what we talked about earlier in segment 1. But nonetheless, you call a meeting and you say, all right, guys, here's what we want to do, and let's talk about who else should be in charge. Then you involve them and you agree on a game plan, you execute the game plan, and then you hold the people accountable who are going to lead that charge. And you do not, as executives, you have to agree that you're not going to go around those folks that you're holding responsible. If that person that you're holding responsible is not doing their job, the worst thing you can do as executives is to try to go and fix it by talking to this person or talking to that person over there and going around them, when what you should do is on a weekly basis or twice a week, get an update from the quarterback who's handling that project, and that quarterback can be from this department or the front desk department, as long as you agreed that these 2 quarterbacks are going to report to you on a regular basis, and you as executives have the discipline to not go the triangulation route, but instead have a very linear, disciplined approach to holding folks accountable and make sure you're moving things forward.